Anatomy and Physiology, Human Genetics, Things You Should Know, Questions and Answers, by Rumi Michael Lee. Introduction. I would like to thank and congratulate you for listening to this book, Anatomy and Physiology, Human Genetics, Things You Should Know, Questions and Answers. This book will help you understand, revise and have a good general knowledge and keywords of the human genetics. Part 1. 1. What is genetics? Genetics is the scientific study of heredity and its variation in individuals. 2. What is heredity? Heredity is the transmission of characters from one generation to the next. 3. We have how many pairs of chromosomes? We have 23 pairs of chromosomes. 4. What are autosomes? Autosomes are the 22 pairs of the 23 pairs of chromosomes. 5. What are heterosomes? Heterosomes consist of the pair of sex chromosomes among the 23 pairs of chromosomes. 6. What is a gene? A gene is a DNA fragment that encodes a particular character. 7. What is a character? A character is a hereditary property, for example, the color of the eyes. 8. What are homologous chromosomes? Homologous chromosomes are paternal and maternal chromosomes. 9. What are the two types of sex chromosomes? The X and Y chromosomes. 10. What are alleles? Alleles are the different forms of varieties of a gene. 11. What is a genotype? A genotype consists of the type of allele carried by an individual. Part 2. 1. Give an example of a genotype. A woman with wavy hair, her genotype by her appearance. 2. How is a genotype written? A genotype is written with two letters, an example OO for wavy hair. 3. What is a phenotype? A phenotype shows the appearance. 4. Is the genotype visible? No, the genotype is not visible. 5. Is the phenotype visible? Yes, the phenotype is visible. 6. What are the two main types of alleles? The two main types of alleles are the dominant allele and the recessive allele. 7. Give examples of the different types of alleles. Color of the eye brown, capital letter B. Color of the eye blue, small letter b. BB capital letters dominant, capital letter B and small letter b dominant, small letters BB recessive. 8. What is a homozygote? A homozygote is an individual who carries two identical alleles. 9. How do you represent the alleles of a homozygote individual? An example are small letters BB or capital letters BB. 10. What is another name for a homozygote? Homozygote is also called a pure race. Part 3. 1. What is a heterozygote? A heterozygote is an individual who carries two different alleles. 2. How are the alleles of a heterozygous individual represented? An example is a capital letter B and a small letter b. 3. What are the three types of heredity? The three types of heredity are dominant recessive heredity, codominance and incomplete dominance. 4. Why are dominant diseases rare? Dominant diseases are rare because the dominant genes express themselves strongly and often cause death in the embryonic stage. 5. Give an example of an autosomal dominant hereditary disease. An example of an autosomal dominant hereditary disease is achondroplasia. It is a type of dwarfism. 6. Give an example of an autosomal recessive hereditary disease. Albinism is an example of an autosomal recessive hereditary disease. 7. What is the cause of albinism? Albinism is caused by a defect in the synthesis of melanin. 8. What is the only fluid tissue in the body? The only fluid tissue in the body is blood. 9. What is the volume of the human blood? The volume of the human blood is from 5 to 6 liters. 10. What is the pH of the human blood? The pH of the human blood is between 7.35 and 7.45. Part 4. 1. What is incomplete dominated heredity? Incomplete dominated heredity is when a heterozygote individual expresses all the characteristics of the two alleles. 2. What is the proportion of a dominant recessive heredity? 3/4 75% dominant. 1/4 25% recessive. 3. What is crossing control? Crossing control is the discovery of an individual's genotype by a return crossing with a recessive homozygous individual. 4. What are some functions of the blood? The transport of respiratory gases, the transport of heat, the transport of waste and nutrients, the transport of hormones, etc. 5. Name the 3 types of blood cells. The 3 types of blood cells are red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. 6. What is the function of the red blood cells? The transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide. 7. What is the function of the white blood cells? The defense of the body against foreign bodies. 8. What is the function of platelets? The function of platelets is blood coagulation. 9. What is the name of the oxygen-carrying protein in the blood? Hemoglobin is the oxygen-carrying protein in the blood. 10. Do red blood cells contain a nucleus? No, red blood cells do not contain a nucleus. 11. In relation to question 10, if the answer is no, why? Red blood cells do not contain a nucleus, because they must carry oxygen into the body. Part 5. 1. Why can blood transfusion be fatal? Blood transfusion can be fatal if the blood groups are not compatible. 2. What are the phenotypic blood groups? The phenotypic blood groups are A, B, AB, O. 3. What are the genotype blood types? The genotype blood types are AA or AO, BB or BO, and OO. 4. What is the blood type of the universal donor? The blood group O. 5. What is the blood type of the universal recipient? The blood group AB. 6. What are the 2 types of blood groups? The 2 types of blood groups are the blood group ABO and the blood group rhesus factor. 7. The X chromosomes have how many genes? The X chromosomes have 1500 genes. 8. The Y chromosome has how many genes? The Y chromosome has 230 genes. 9. Which chromosomes represent the female sex? The XX chromosomes represent the female sex. 10. Which chromosomes represent the male sex? The XY chromosomes represent the male sex. 11. What is a healthy carrier? A healthy carrier is a woman carrying the abnormal allele on one of her X chromosomes. Part 6. 1. If S is a disease, how is the genotype of a sick man written? XSY. 2. If S is a disease, how is the genotype of a sick woman written? XSXS. 3. If S is a disease, how is the genotype of a healthy carrier written? XXS. 4. What is hemophilia? Hemophilia is an abnormally long time of blood clotting. 5. Which chromosomes carry the gene responsible for color blindness? The X chromosomes carry the gene responsible for color blindness. 6. What is polygamy? Polygamy is when a character is determined by several genes. 7. What is a mutation? A mutation is the change in the sequence or amount of DNA. 8. What are some substances in the environment that can cause mutation? Substances such as magnet, pesticides, nuclear radiation, paint, cigarette smoke, etc. 9. What are point mutations? Point mutations are the mutations of a single base of a gene. 10. What is a sex-related illness? A sex-related illness is a disease related to the X chromosomes. 11. What is a heterosome? A heterosome is the sex chromosome. Part 7. 1. What is crossing over? Crossing over is the exchange between chromatids of the same chromosome produced by the replication process. 2. How does crossing over happen? Crossing over happens at random. 3. What is the probability of recombination between genes in crossing over? The more distant the genes, the greater the likelihood of recombination. 4. How is the genotype of a healthy man written? The genotype of a healthy man is written in capital letter X and capital letter Y. 5. What is the blood temperature? Blood temperature is about 35 degrees Celsius. 6. Codons have how many letters? Codons have 3 letters. 7. What is the enzyme that permits to switch from DNA to mRNA? The polymerases. 8. What is dihybridism? Dihybridism is the fact of having 2 characters at a time. 9. What is agglutination? Agglutination means gathering, putting together, it is a defense system. 10. How many pairs of nitrogen bases are there? There are 3 billion. Part 8. 1. There are how many genes per chromosome? There are 1,000 genes per chromosome. 2. When can we have mutation? We can have mutation during replication. 3. What is needed for a mutation to be transmitted to a progeny? For a mutation to be transmitted, it must take place in the sex cells. 4. What is the probability of crossing over? There are billions of possibilities. 5. What does this mean if the parents have a healthy appearance but they have sick children? This means that the parents are healthy carriers. 6. What is fertilization? Fertilization is the fusion of the egg and the spermatozoa. 7. What is a locus? A locus is the precise location of a gene on a chromosome. 8. What can cause genetic differences? Mutation can cause genetic differences. 9. What are the only cells in the human body that are not produced by mitosis? Gametes are the only cells in the human body that are not produced by mitosis. 10. What is meiosis? Meiosis is the reduction of the number of chromosomes from 2n to n. 11. What is the difference between mitosis and meiosis? During meiosis, the number of chromosomes changes, but during mitosis, the number of chromosomes does not change. Part 9. 1. What phase does crossing over occur? Crossing over occurs during prophase 1. 2. In humans, the number of haploid is 23. 3. Why do men suffer much more from inherited recessive sex-related diseases than women? Men suffer much more from inherited recessive sex-related diseases than women, because men have only one X chromosome. 4. What is the cause of hemophilia? The cause of hemophilia is the absence of one or more blood coagulation proteins. 5. What does 2n plus 1 refer to? This is trisomy, it is one more chromosome. 6. What does 2n1 refer to? This is monosomy, it is one less chromosome. 7. Name 3 types of trisomy. Down syndrome, Patten syndrome, and Edwards syndrome. 8. What is the other name for Down syndrome? Another name for Down syndrome is trisomy 21. 9. What is the other name for Patten syndrome? Another name for Patten syndrome is trisomy 13. 10. What is the other name for Edwards syndrome? Another name for Edwards syndrome is trisomy 18. Part 10. 1. What is the name of this anomaly XXY? This anomaly is called the Klinefelter syndrome. 2. What are the characteristics of the Klinefelter syndrome? Men with this anomaly have male sexual organs but have atrophied testicles, they often have developed breasts, and they are sterile. 3. Do people with Klinefelter syndrome have normal intelligence? Yes, people with Klinefelter syndrome have normal intelligence. 4. What are the characteristics of the triple X syndrome, XXX? In triple X syndrome, the women are sterile, they have menstrual abnormality, and there is also the possibility of an intellectual disability. 5. What are the characteristics of the XO syndrome? It is a female phenotype, they have small body size and there is a lack of secondary sexual characteristics. 6. What are the characteristics of the XXY syndrome? In XXY syndrome, the men sometimes have behavioral problems, they are often tall, they often have normal intelligence. 7. What are the 2 main steps in the transmission of genetic information? The 2 main steps in the transmission of genetic information are transcription and translation. 8. What are the triplets of the ARMM called? The triplets of the ARMM are called codons. 9. Which chromosomes carry more genes? The X chromosomes carry more genes. 10. The X chromosomes carry how many genes? The X chromosomes have 1500 genes. 11. The Y chromosome carries how many genes? The Y chromosomes carries 230 genes. Conclusion. Thank you once again for listening to this book. I hope it has helped you in your journey to understanding human genetics.